up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's Nikki Valentine, the Style Shaman. What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm glad you guys are here. Like, share, and subscribe my videos, my channel. I just want to share a movement of positivity, self-love, and looking good. Okay? Looking good. All right. So my last video was about self-esteem, what it is, what causes low self-esteem, and how to resolve that. But I wanted to come back in and share a little personal story time about self-esteem, what my journey has been with it, what my challenges have been, and how I got to the place that I am now. So a lot of people, when they first meet me, don't realize that I'm very shy and kind of awkward. The reason for that is I tend to have sometimes what they call ugly duckling syndrome, which is that for a long time growing up, I was very awkward. I was kind of tomboyish. I didn't really have my look together. I wasn't really into like hair and makeup and all those things. So I was more of like the cool person, but like my look was just not, it was not popping. Okay. And I used to get made fun of. I used to get bullied in school. So I'm originally from Jamaica. Big up all the other them from Kingston. And I came to the United States when I was about 7, went into the school system. I got made fun of for my accent. I wore glasses at the time, got made fun of for that. I dressed different. There were so many things that kids just immediately drew to and picked on. And it honestly made me feel horrible about myself. I was told that I talked like a white person. You go figure out what that means, because I had a different accent when I came here. So there were so many things as a kid that I was told were wrong or bad or too different about me. I also was very chubby. I've always had chubby cheeks, but I was a chunky kid. I got called fat, chubby, you name it. I got made fun of for my features. I got told my nose was too big. I got told my lips were too big. You're not gonna believe this, but I was actually told my butt was too big. Get into that in 2019, but that was absolutely a thing. So there were so many things in my childhood that I just felt like I was constantly being told, you don't look good enough, you don't sound right, you don't talk right, you don't dress right, there's all these things wrong with you. And over time, I just internalized that. It's actually amazing to me that I'm even doing a YouTube video, because up until about a year ago, I never let people hear my voice recorded. I hated my voice. I was always told my voice was really deep and you sound like a man and Barry White and all these other little jokes that kids tend to have. And it made me so self-conscious that I just kept my mouth shut and I didn't want to share. So all of these things as I was growing up really affected my self-esteem. As you guys can see in the last video, I actually wear glasses. I'm not wearing them now because I don't want the flashback. But I was called Urkel's girlfriend. I'm sorry, when I think about that, that's actually kind of fucked up. But that people called me Urkel's girlfriend for the longest time in school because I had glasses and they had the little glasses strings. Not a cute look, but this was, it was the 90s. It happened. It was a thing. So growing up, I just really felt like this person that was not good enough and that had nothing to offer and nothing to share, and that I just was wrong. Kids are mean, and kids can make you feel like you aren't worth crap. Side note, it's only because they're going through their own insecurities. But the point is, it still sticks. So for a long time, I just shrank back and I was never like the person to really speak up first. And I was just really shy and kind of awkward. I always loved people. I've always loved people. So I've always had friends around, but I never felt like the cool girl. I was never the it girl. I never had a boyfriend. I literally did not date until college. People were not beating down my door to ask me out and come chill and all. Like, I was not that girl. I had a lot of friends. I was really, really smart. And I just stuck with that. That was my way of getting through, but I still had such low self-esteem. As I got older, and even as my looks changed and, I figured out my style and got all of that stuff together, I still inside had low self-esteem. It is actually the one thing that people don't really realize about me, because I love fashion. I love style. I'll come to you with blonde hair and big ass earrings and like crazy clothing, and people tend to miss that underneath that for a long time was low self-esteem. For a long time, I still didn't feel like I was good enough. I just knew how to dress it up and fool people that I was, but I still inside something fell off. And I remember a couple of years ago just really feeling so frustrated and over it. Like, you know what? I have too much potential. I'm too smart. People say that I'm beautiful. I want to feel it. None of it matters unless I feel it. It doesn't matter if I put on a great outfit. If I don't feel it inside, It's whack. It's through. It's a dub. It's not lit. I'm over it. So I made a conscious decision that, like, you know what? I'm going to do everything I can to actually be internally happy and feel good about me and raise my self-esteem. So I started to do a bunch of different things. And these are things that I referred to in my last video. I started doing a lot of journaling. I started going back to what were those things in my childhood that happened that made me feel low or that killed my self-esteem. I had to actually voice that. I had to actually write it on paper and look at it. I remember I did an exercise, and thank God for all the mentors and coaches that are out there, I did a really good journaling exercise. And it said, write down all the things you feel negatively about yourself. And when you're done, read it, burn the paper, and throw it away. I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote, and I came up with like 40 things. And when I looked at it on paper after I was finished writing, I was devastated because I thought to myself, geez, like this on paper is what has happened to you, what people said to you, and how you feel about it. It was real in black and white, and I could not argue with that. And after I burned it and cried on my balcony and looked like a crazy person and I blew it away, the second exercise was to write good things about yourself. And as I started to write that list, and as I started to read it every day, and then I started to share it with people I trusted the most, like my sister and my fiance, and I thought, is this right? I have some things that are like good about me, right? And people started to encourage me and really love on me and really reinforce the things that they loved about me. And that made a shift. That created an energy shift. Along with that, I started voracious. I've always been a voracious reader, but I started when I tell you I was reading, I was crushing down like 10 books every 6 months, because I just wanted to fill my head with new knowledge and learn new things and just get a different perspective. That helped my confidence so much. If I can stress anything, like self-educate. Anything you've ever wondered about, anything you think you don't know about, anything you feel like you're not good at, go look it up. And with enough research and practice, you can tackle those things and become good at those things. So I put some effort towards that. For me, though, the thing that made the biggest shift was to focus on the things that make me great and accept the things that I think are my bad sides. It's called shadow work. We both have a light and a dark side, all of us. You will find true self-love and high self-esteem when you're able to accept both of those sides of you. Here's what I mean by that. There's a lot of good things I can tell you about myself. I'm smart. Sometimes I think I'm funny. I'm a really good friend. I have a big heart. I care about people. Blah, blah, blah. The list goes on, right? But here are some other things that are totally real. I can be a bitch sometimes. I have an anger problem. If you come at me the wrong way, I tend to have an attitude. I can be a little selfish sometimes. Sometimes I can be kind of harsh in my delivery of things. These are all things that are me. 100. I've had to, over the years, understand who are you, good and bad. When I stopped looking at it like, oh, you're a horrible person because of these few things, or oh, overinflating myself, oh, you're amazing because of these. No, balance brings self-acceptance. You have amazing qualities. You have a grocery list of things that are amazing about you. There are some other things that may not be as desirable, but it's part of you. Once you really get into that and you accept that and you become unapologetic about that, it's going to really start to raise your self-esteem. The other and the final thing I want to say that helped me is stopping comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy, and they say that for a reason. The reason is there is only one you. It makes no sense to look at other people to try to figure out how to be you when there's not another you to look at. Sometimes I wish I could have a clone of me that got to live a separate life, and then I could compare myself to her, because at least you're comparing yourself with someone that has had your exact childhood, your exact upbringing, your exact circumstances, and then see what they did with it. Otherwise, it's not a balanced comparison. It's apples to oranges. You're comparing yourself with people that have different DNA, different parents, different childhood, different education, everything is different in their experience. They could never be like you. The outcome is always going to look different. A couple months ago, I went on Instagram and I muted about 50 people. Didn't unfollow, still love y'all, but I just muted them. You know why? Because seeing their images every day made me compare myself to them, and it made me feel like shit about myself. And I have decided, ain't nobody got time for that. So, mute, unfollow, silence, cut it off. If you're comparing yourself to people that are making you feel less than, stop doing it. I hate to yell at y'all, but it's the single most irritating and frustrating thing to me about social media is that it presents all of these new people to us that we can compare ourselves to and then decide that we're not good enough. Listen, it is like a TV. You can change the channel. You can turn it off. You can delete the whole app for all I give a shit. But do not spend hours of your day looking at other people and then coming back and saying, I'm not enough. Cut it. Shut it off. You are you. And nobody else can be you. Think about it. There is no one on this planet that can be you. Have you ever thought about how dope that is? Like, even if you have a bad hair day, no one can have a you hair day. No one has your hair. Even if you think that you don't sound as smart in a conversation, no one else could bring the perspective that you brought. No one else can do you. No one else can do you, and that is your power. And once you accept everything that means, good, bad, and ugly, you're gonna find so much power, so much self-esteem, so much confidence from that. And I say that because I have been there. I have been in a place where you feel horribly about yourself, and I have come out on the other side. So if I can do it, you can definitely do it. So thank you guys so much for listening. Definitely like and subscribe, share this video if you feel like it helped you. Hopefully it will help somebody else. Till next time, bye y'all.